The Rosetta Stone stands as a testament to human curiosity and the enduring power of language. This unassuming slab of black basalt, discovered by chance during Napoleon's Egyptian campaign, holds the key to unlocking the mysteries of ancient Egyptian civilization. For centuries, the hieroglyphs that adorned temples, tombs, and papyri remained a baffling enigma, a silent testament to a lost world. The Rosetta Stone, with its trilingual inscription, provided the crucial linguistic bridge, allowing scholars to decipher these enigmatic symbols and finally begin to read the stories of ancient Egypt. The Rosetta Stone, a window to the past discovered in 1799, near the town of Rosetta, modern-day Rashid, in the Nile Delta. The Rosetta Stone is a fragment of a larger stele, a stone slab used for public decrees. Inscribed in 1960 BCE during the reign of Ptolemy, the fifth Epiphanes, it bears the same royal decree in three distinct scripts: hieroglyphic, the sacred script of the pharaohs, used for religious and ceremonial purposes. Its intricate symbols, a blend of pictorial and abstract forms, had confounded scholars for centuries. Demotic, a more cursive and everyday script used for administrative and legal documents. Ancient Greek, the language of the Ptolemaic rulers, reflecting the Greek influence on Egypt during this period. While the decree itself, a reaffirmation of the pharaoh's divine status and the granting of privileges to the priesthood, may seem mundane, its trilingual nature is unparalleled. It offered a unique opportunity for scholars to compare the same message written in different scripts, a crucial first step towards deciphering the elusive hieroglyphs. The journey to rediscovery. The discovery of the Rosetta Stone was a pivotal moment in the history of Egyptology, but it was also a product of its time, intertwined with the political and military ambitions of Napoleon's campaign in Egypt. French soldiers, while fortifying a fort near Rosetta, unearthed the stone in July 1799. Recognizing its potential significance, they brought it to the attention of scholars accompanying the expedition. The discovery, however, was not without controversy. After Napoleon's defeat in Egypt, the British seized the Rosetta Stone under the terms of the Treaty of Alexandria in 1801. This transfer of ownership sparked a debate that continues to this day, raising important questions about cultural heritage and the rightful ownership of ancient artifacts. The impact of the discovery. Before the discovery of the Rosetta Stone, ancient Egypt remained largely shrouded in mystery. Its magnificent monuments, pyramids, temples, and tombs, were adorned with intricate carvings, but their meaning remained hidden. The stone, however, offered a glimpse into the past, a key to understanding the rich tapestry of Egyptian history, culture, and beliefs. The stone's significance transcended the realm of Egyptology. It became a symbol of human ingenuity and the power of language to connect past and present. It demonstrated how the preservation of knowledge, even across cultural divides, can unlock the secrets of lost civilizations. Ptolemaic Egypt, a time of transition. The Rosetta Stone provides a window into Ptolemaic Egypt, a period of significant transition in Egyptian history. Following the demise of the pharaonic dynasties, Alexander the Great conquered Egypt and established Greek rule. His successor, Ptolemy I Soter, founded the Ptolemaic dynasty, which ruled Egypt for nearly 3 centuries. This period witnessed a fascinating cultural synthesis, with Greek influences blending with the indigenous Egyptian traditions. The decree inscribed on the Rosetta Stone reflects this cultural interplay, showcasing the Greek language alongside the ancient Egyptian scripts. The enduring legacy. The Rosetta Stone, more than just an artifact, represents a bridge between the ancient and modern worlds. It serves as a reminder of the enduring power of human curiosity, the importance of cultural exchange, and the ongoing quest to understand our shared past. The decipherment of the Rosetta Stone ushered in a new era of Egyptology, allowing scholars to access a wealth of information previously hidden within the enigmatic symbols. It continues to inspire language learning, interdisciplinary research, and a deeper appreciation for the diversity of human communication. In the following chapters, we will delve deeper into the fascinating story of the Rosetta Stone. We will explore the lives and contributions of the scholars who deciphered its inscriptions, examine the historical context of the Ptolemaic kingdom, and uncover the rich tapestry of ancient Egyptian civilization that the stone has helped to reveal. The rediscovery of the Rosetta Stone in 1799 marked a pivotal moment in the history of archaeology and linguistics. It was not merely an accidental find, but a product of the larger historical forces at play during the late 18th century. This chapter explores the fascinating context in which the stone was unearthed, the story of its discovery, and the profound global ramifications of its reappearance. Napoleon's Egyptian Campaign, a quest for glory and knowledge. Napoleon Bonaparte's invasion of Egypt in 1798 was driven by a confluence of political, military, and intellectual ambitions. While ostensibly aimed at weakening British influence in the Mediterranean, the campaign also served as a stage for French scientific and cultural dominance. Napoleon, a self-proclaimed admirer of classical antiquity, sought to showcase French intellectual prowess by documenting and studying the wonders of ancient Egypt. To this end, he assembled a multidisciplinary team of scholars, scientists, engineers, and artists known as the Commission des Sciences et des Arts. This army of scholars included renowned mathematicians, astronomers, botanists, and zoologists. Their mission was to explore every facet of Egyptian society, from its ancient monuments and hieroglyphs to its flora, fauna, and the daily lives of its people. This ambitious project, while ultimately overshadowed by military setbacks, laid the foundation for modern Egyptology. The unexpected discovery. The Rosetta Stone was discovered in July 1799 by French soldiers while fortifying a fort near the town of Rosetta, modern-day Rashid, in the Nile Delta. As they dug into the ground to lay new foundations, they unearthed a peculiar black stone covered in inscriptions. Recognizing its potential significance, Pierre-François Bouchard, a French military engineer, ensured the stone's preservation. He was reportedly the first to notice the presence of 3 distinct scripts, a feature that immediately piqued the interest of the scholars accompanying the expedition. A fragment of a Ptolemaic decree. The Rosetta Stone is a fragment of a larger stele, a stone slab used for public decrees. Measuring approximately 114 centimeters, 45 inches, tall, 72 centimeters, 28 inches, wide, and 28 centimeters, 11 inches, thick. The stone is composed of granodiorite, a dense, speckled rock often mistaken for basalt. It weighs roughly 760 kilograms, 1,676 pounds. The inscriptions on the stone date back to March 27, 196 BCE, during the reign of Ptolemy V Epiphanes. This young pharaoh faced numerous challenges, including internal strife and external threats. The decree, issued by a council of priests, reaffirmed Ptolemy V's divine status and granted tax exemptions and other privileges to the priesthood in exchange for their loyalty. While such decrees were not uncommon in Ptolemaic Egypt, the Rosetta Stone's trilingual nature made it an invaluable artifact for scholars seeking to decipher the mysteries of ancient Egyptian writing. The scholars and the stone. The discovery of the stone electrified the scholars accompanying Napoleon's expedition. they immediately recognized its potential to unlock the secrets of ancient Egyptian civilization. The Greek text, written in a well-understood language, offered a crucial point of reference for deciphering the unknown hieroglyphic and demotic scripts. The scholars meticulously documented the stone, creating detailed drawings and copies of the inscriptions. However, the ongoing military campaign and the increasing pressure from British forces limited their time for in-depth study. The stone changes hands, a controversial transfer. The transfer of the Rosetta Stone to British hands remains a controversial episode. Following Napoleon's defeat in Egypt, the Treaty of Alexandria, 1801, stipulated that many of the artifacts collected by the French, including the Rosetta Stone, would be handed over to the British. This transfer, seen by some as a spoils of war, sparked resentment among French scholars who had worked tirelessly to document Egypt's treasures. The Rosetta Stone was shipped to England aboard the HMS Egyptienne and presented to King George III. In 1802, it was installed in the British Museum, where it quickly became one of the institution's most celebrated exhibits. The inscription, captured in Egypt by the British Army in 1801 on the stone, served as a stark reminder of Britain's military victory. The Rosetta Stone is not merely a block of inscribed stone. It is a testament to the intricate interplay of language, power, and culture in Ptolemaic Egypt. This chapter explores the physical characteristics of the stone, examines the arrangement and significance of its three inscriptions, and analyzes how this trilingual structure provided the crucial framework for deciphering the mysteries of ancient Egyptian writing. A physical description, a monument of stone. The Rosetta Stone, a fragment of a larger stele, is a testament to the skill of ancient Egyptian artisans. Measuring approximately 114 centimeters, 45 inches in height, 72 centimeters, 28 inches in width, and 28 centimeters, 11 inches in thickness, the stone is composed of granodiorite, a hard and durable rock quarried from Aswan, hundreds of kilometers south of Rosetta. Weighing over 760 kilograms, 1,676 pounds, the stone is a substantial object, reflecting the importance of the decree it bears. The front face of the stone, where the inscriptions are located, is meticulously polished, showcasing the care and attention to detail invested in its creation. In contrast, the back of the stone is rough and unfinished, suggesting that it was intended to be mounted against a wall or placed in a niche, with only the front face visible to the public. The inscriptions, a trilingual declaration. The Rosetta Stone bears the same decree inscribed in three distinct scripts. Hieroglyphic, the sacred script of the pharaohs, used for religious and monumental purposes. Its intricate symbols, a blend of pictorial and abstract forms, convey a sense of grandeur and authority. Demotic, a more cursive and everyday script used for administrative, legal, and commercial purposes. Demotic reflects the practical needs of daily life in Ptolemaic Egypt. Ancient Greek, the language of the Ptolemaic rulers and the administrative elite, reflecting the Greek influence on Egyptian society during this period. This trilingual nature was not a mere stylistic choice. It was a deliberate political and cultural strategy. By presenting the decree in three different scripts, the Ptolemaic rulers sought to ensure that their message reached all segments of Egyptian society, from the priesthood and the elite to the broader population. Hieroglyphs, the language of the gods. The hieroglyphic inscription, positioned at the top of the stone, commands immediate attention. Hieroglyphs, with their intricate imagery and symbolic representations, were considered the sacred script of the pharaohs, used for religious texts, royal proclamations, and monumental inscriptions. They were a language of power and tradition, associated with the divine authority of the pharaohs. On the Rosetta Stone, the hieroglyphic text, while incomplete due to the damage to the upper portion of the stele, provides valuable insights into the ceremonial and spiritual aspects of the decree. It would have been the most prestigious and authoritative form of the inscription, intended to convey the decree's divine sanction and reinforce the pharaoh's connection to the ancient gods and traditions of Egypt. Demotic. The language of the people beneath the hieroglyphic text lies the Demotic inscription. Demotic, a more cursive and practical script, was widely used for everyday purposes, including legal documents, contracts, and personal letters. Its inclusion on the Rosetta Stone demonstrates the Ptolemies' recognition of the importance of reaching the broader Egyptian population. By using Demotic, the rulers ensured that the decree would be understood by Egyptian administrators, officials, and literate individuals who played a crucial role in the day-to-day governance of the country. This pragmatic approach reflects the Ptolemies' understanding that effective rule required the support and cooperation of the native Egyptian population. Greek, the language of power and administration. At the bottom of the stone is the Greek inscription, the most complete and legible of the three texts. Greek, the language of the Ptolemaic rulers, was the official language of administration, law, and commerce in Ptolemaic Egypt. Its presence on the stone underscores the Greek influence on Egyptian society and the role of the Greek-speaking elite in governing the country. The Greek inscription served several important purposes. It demonstrated the Ptolemies' authority and legitimacy as rulers of Egypt. It also facilitated communication with the Greek-speaking officials and administrators who staffed the Ptolemaic bureaucracy. Furthermore, the inclusion of Greek ensured that the decree would be understood by scholars and diplomats throughout the Hellenistic world. The significance of trilingualism. The decision to inscribe the decree in three different scripts was not merely a stylistic choice, it was a deliberate political and cultural strategy. By using hieroglyphs, Demotic, and Greek, the Ptolemaic rulers sought to legitimize the Rosetta Stone, beyond its linguistic significance, offers a fascinating glimpse into the political and religious landscape of Ptolemaic Egypt. This chapter examines the content of the decree inscribed on the stone, analyzing its purpose, its key messages, and its broader historical and cultural implications. A royal decree, a blend of politics and piety. The Rosetta Stone bears a decree issued in 196 BCE during the reign of Ptolemy V Epiphanes. This decree, intended for public display, was not merely a legal document. It was a carefully crafted piece of political propaganda designed to legitimize Ptolemy V's rule. The decree emphasizes the divine right of the pharaoh, portraying Ptolemy V as a chosen ruler, divinely appointed to protect Egypt and its people. It highlights his piety, his generosity towards the gods, and his military victories, presenting him as a strong and benevolent leader capable of maintaining order and prosperity. Reinforce the power of the priesthood. The decree acknowledges the crucial role of the priesthood in Egyptian society. By granting tax exemptions and other privileges to religious institutions, Ptolemy V sought to gain the support and loyalty of the priesthood, a powerful and influential force within Egyptian society. This mutually beneficial relationship between the monarchy and the priesthood was essential for maintaining political stability. Promote royal cult. The decree establishes a formal cult of Ptolemy V, elevating him to the status of a living god. This involved the construction of shrines dedicated to the king, the inclusion of his name in temple hymns, and the establishment of annual festivals to celebrate his reign. By incorporating the king into the religious sphere, the Ptolemaic dynasty sought to reinforce its divine right to rule and solidify its connection to the ancient Egyptian tradition of divine kingship. Disseminate the royal message. The decree's trilingual format, hieroglyphic, demotic, and Greek, ensured that its message reached a wide audience. This multilingual approach reflected the diverse linguistic and cultural landscape of Ptolemaic Egypt, demonstrating the ruler's awareness of the need to communicate effectively with all segments of society. Breaking down the text, key messages and themes. The decree itself can be divided into several key sections. Invocation of the gods. The decree begins with a traditional invocation to the Egyptian gods, particularly Ptah, the creator god. This emphasized the divine sanction of the decree and aligned Ptolemy V with the ancient religious traditions of Egypt. Praise for the pharaoh. This section extols the virtues of Ptolemy V, highlighting his military victories, his piety, and his generosity towards the Egyptian people. It portrays him as a just and benevolent ruler, a protector of the temples and a champion of the Egyptian people. Religious privileges and reforms. The decree outlines specific measures taken by Ptolemy V to benefit the priesthood and the temples, including tax exemptions, the restoration of temple lands, and financial support for temple maintenance. These measures demonstrated the king's piety and his commitment to the well-being of the religious institutions. Establishment of the royal cult. This section details the establishment of a formal cult of Ptolemy V. It outlines the rituals to be performed in his honor, the construction of shrines dedicated to his worship, and the inclusion of his name in temple hymns. This aspect of the decree reflects the Hellenistic influence on Ptolemaic Egypt, where rulers were often deified and worshipped as divine beings. Mandate for dissemination. The decree concludes with a mandate for its public display. It instructs that the decree be inscribed on stone or bronze tablets in 3 scripts, hieroglyphic, demotic, and Greek, and displayed prominently in temples throughout Egypt. This ensured that the message of the decree reached all segments of Egyptian society. The historical context, a time of transition. The Rosetta Stone provides a valuable window into the political and social realities of Ptolemaic Egypt. Issued during the reign of Ptolemy V, a young king who faced challenges to his authority, the decree reflects the efforts of the Ptolemaic administration to consolidate power and project an image of stability and strength. The decree also illustrates the hybrid nature of Ptolemaic rule. While the Ptolemies were of Macedonian Greek origin, they adopted many elements of Egyptian culture, including its religious traditions, language, and administrative practices. This blending of Greek and Egyptian influences is evident throughout the decree, reflecting the complex cultural and political landscape of Ptolemaic Egypt. The Rosetta Stone, a window into Ptolemaic society. The Rosetta Stone, inscribed in 196 BCE during the reign of Ptolemy V Epiphanes, is more than just a linguistic artifact. It is a window into the complex political, social, and cultural dynamics of Ptolemaic Egypt. This chapter explores the historical backdrop against which the stone was created, examining the rise of the Ptolemaic dynasty, the challenges faced by Ptolemy V, and the intricate interplay of Greek and Egyptian traditions in this period. Understanding this historical context is crucial for appreciating the Rosetta Stone's significance, both as a political document and as a cultural artifact. The rise of the Ptolemies, a Hellenistic kingdom in Egypt, following Alexander the Great's conquest of Egypt in 332 BCE, his general, Ptolemy the Farnsoter, established himself as the ruler of the region. This marked the beginning of the Ptolemaic dynasty, which would govern Egypt for nearly 3 centuries. Ptolemy I, a shrewd and ambitious leader, skillfully navigated the complex political landscape of the post-Alexandrian world. He consolidated his power in Egypt establishing a strong military and administrative apparatus. He also fostered cultural development, establishing Alexandria as a center of learning and scholarship, renowned for its library and museum. The Ptolemaic dynasty, while of Macedonian Greek origin, sought to legitimize their rule by embracing aspects of Egyptian tradition. They adopted the title of pharaoh, presented themselves as successors to the ancient Egyptian pharaohs, and supported the existing religious institutions. This strategy, known as Hellenistic kingship, aimed to blend Greek and Egyptian traditions, creating a unique hybrid culture that blended the best of both worlds. The reign of Ptolemy, Fav. Challenges and consolidation. Ptolemy. Epiphanes, who ascended the throne at the tender age of 5, inherited a kingdom facing significant challenges. The sudden death of his father, Ptolemy IV Philopator, created a power vacuum, leading to political instability and internal struggles for control. Internal revolts. The early years of Ptolemy V's reign were marked by widespread rebellions, particularly in Upper Egypt, where local rulers sought to assert their independence. These uprisings reflected growing discontent among the native Egyptian population, who may have felt marginalized by the Greek-dominated Ptolemaic administration. External threats. The Seleucid Empire, a major rival in the Hellenistic world, posed a constant threat to Ptolemaic Egypt. The Fifth Syrian War, 202 to 195 BCE, a conflict between Ptolemy V and the Seleucid king Antiochus III, resulted in the loss of key territories, including Coeli Syria, modern-day Lebanon, and parts of Israel, to the Seleucids. Navigating a multicultural society, Ptolemaic Egypt was a multi-ethnic and multicultural society. The Greek-speaking elite, including administrators, soldiers, and merchants, held significant power and influence. However, the majority of the population remained Egyptian, maintaining their own language, traditions, and religious beliefs. This cultural diversity presented both challenges and opportunities for the Ptolemaic rulers. The Rosetta Stone, a tool for legitimacy and stability. The decree inscribed on the Rosetta Stone reflects the political and social realities of this turbulent period. It was a carefully crafted instrument of royal propaganda, designed to legitimize Ptolemy's rule. The decree emphasized the divine right of the pharaoh, portraying Ptolemy V as a chosen ruler, divinely appointed to protect Egypt and its people. It highlighted his piety, his generosity towards the gods, and his military victories, presenting him as a strong and benevolent leader capable of maintaining order and prosperity. Gain the support of the priesthood. By granting privileges and tax exemptions to the temples, the decree sought to gain the loyalty and support of the priesthood, a powerful and influential force within Egyptian society. The priesthood played a crucial role in legitimizing royal authority and maintaining social stability. Unify a diverse population. The trilingual format of the decree, hieroglyphic, demotic, and Greek, was a deliberate strategy to reach all segments of Egyptian society. It demonstrated the Ptolemies' awareness of the diverse linguistic and cultural landscape of Egypt and their desire to communicate effectively with all their subjects. Religion, power, and the Ptolemaic state religion played a central role in Ptolemaic Egypt. The Ptolemies, while of Greek origin, adopted many aspects of Egyptian religion, presenting themselves as successors to the ancient pharaohs and seeking to align themselves with the gods and goddesses of Egypt. Challenges and tensions. Despite their efforts to integrate with Egyptian culture, the Ptolemaic rulers faced ongoing challenges in governing a diverse and sometimes resistant population. The Greek-speaking elite, while enjoying privileges and power, often remained distinct from the native Egyptian population. This social and cultural divide could lead to tensions and resentment, as evidenced by the periodic rebellions that erupted throughout Ptolemaic history. The Rosetta Stone, with its trilingual inscription, presented a unique challenge and an unparalleled opportunity for scholars. While hieroglyphics and demotic remained enigmatic, the presence of Greek, a language well understood in 18th and 19th century Europe, provided a crucial foothold in the quest to decipher the ancient Egyptian scripts. This chapter explores the significance of the Greek inscription on the Rosetta Stone, examining its content, its role in the decipherment process, and its broader implications for our understanding of Ptolemaic Egypt. The significance of Greek in Ptolemaic Egypt. The inclusion of Greek on the Rosetta Stone reflects the unique historical and cultural context of Ptolemaic Egypt. Following Alexander the Great's conquest, Greek became the dominant language of administration and the ruling elite in many parts of the Hellenistic world, including Egypt. Greek as the language of power. Under the Ptolemaic dynasty, Greek was the official language of government, the military, and the court. Greek-speaking administrators, soldiers, and merchants formed a significant portion of the ruling class, while Egyptian remained the language of the majority of the population. Greek as a symbol of Hellenistic culture. The use of Greek on the Rosetta Stone emphasized the Hellenistic character of Ptolemaic rule. It signified the cultural influence of Greek civilization in Egypt, from philosophy and science to art and architecture. Greek as a tool of communication. By including Greek on the decree, the Ptolemaic rulers ensured that the message reached the Greek-speaking elite, including administrators, military officials, and members of the royal court. This facilitated communication and ensured that the king's policies were effectively disseminated among the ruling class. The Greek inscription. A closer look. The Greek inscription occupies the bottom portion of the Rosetta Stone, providing the most complete and legible version of the decree. Clarity and legibility. The Greek script, with its more standardized and familiar forms, offered a significant advantage for scholars attempting to decipher the other scripts. The clear and consistent style of the Greek inscription, compared to the more cursive and stylized demotic script, made it easier to identify individual letters and words. Formal and ceremonial tone. The Greek text employs the formal and ceremonial language typical of royal decrees. It utilizes precise legal and religious terminology, reflecting the solemnity of the occasion and the importance of the message conveyed. Structural parallels. The Greek inscription follows a structured format, mirroring the other two scripts. It typically begins with an invocation to the gods, followed by praise for the pharaoh, and concludes with a detailed outline of the decree's provisions. This structural similarity facilitated the identification of corresponding sections in the hieroglyphic and demotic texts. The Greek inscription, a key to decipherment. The Greek inscription played a pivotal role in the decipherment of hieroglyphs. Early attempts at decipherment. Scholars such as Antoine-Isaac Silvestre de Sacy, a renowned French Orientalist, recognized the importance of the Greek text. By comparing the Greek text with the other scripts, he and other scholars began to identify potential correspondences and patterns. Thomas Young's contributions. Thomas Young, a British polymath, made significant progress in deciphering hieroglyphs. He used the Greek text to identify proper names, such as Ptolemy, in the hieroglyphic and demotic scripts. By matching these names across the three scripts, he established initial connections between the Greek and Egyptian languages. Champollion's breakthrough. Jean-François Champollion, a brilliant French scholar, built upon the work of his predecessors. He meticulously analyzed the Greek text, identifying proper names, grammatical structures, and phonetic correspondences. This comparative analysis, combined with his knowledge of Coptic, the last stage of the Egyptian language, ultimately led to the decipherment of hieroglyphs. The broader implications of the Greek text, beyond its crucial role in deciphering hieroglyphs, the Greek inscription provides valuable insights into Ptolemaic society and the dynamics of Hellenistic rule in Egypt. Cultural syncretism and the Hellenistic world. The Greek inscription provides evidence of the cultural syncretism that characterized Ptolemaic Egypt. It reflects the blending of Greek and Egyptian traditions, from the use of Greek as the official language to the incorporation of Greek philosophical and artistic ideas into Egyptian culture. The hieroglyphic inscription on the Rosetta Stone, though the most visually striking and perhaps the most evocative of the three scripts, posed the greatest challenge to early scholars. This chapter delves into the nature of hieroglyphs, their role on the Rosetta Stone, the challenges faced in deciphering them, and the profound impact of their rediscovery on our understanding of ancient Egypt. Hieroglyphs, a sacred language. Hieroglyphs were the sacred script of ancient Egypt, used for religious texts, royal inscriptions, and monumental carvings. They were not merely a system of writing, but a powerful symbol of Egyptian identity and a reflection of their cosmological beliefs. A visual language. Hieroglyphs are a unique blend of pictorial and abstract symbols. Some symbols represented objects or concepts directly, such as a bird representing bird, or a sun disk representing the sun. Others represented sounds, functioning as phonetic elements within the writing system. A language of power and divinity. Hieroglyphs were closely associated with the gods and the divine order of the universe. Their use was reserved for sacred and ceremonial purposes, reflecting their connection to the divine and their role in conveying messages of power and authority. Challenges in deciphering. The visual complexity of hieroglyphs, with their intricate forms and multiple layers of meaning, presented a significant challenge to early scholars. The same symbol could represent a sound, an object, or an abstract concept, depending on its context and the presence of other symbols. This ambiguity made it difficult to discern patterns and decipher the underlying logic of the system. The hieroglyphic inscription on the Rosetta Stone. The hieroglyphic text occupies the top portion of the Rosetta Stone, though damage to the upper part of the stone has resulted in the loss of a significant portion of the inscription. Content and purpose. Despite the damage, scholars have been able to reconstruct much of the hieroglyphic text based on the more complete Demotic and Greek inscriptions. The hieroglyphic text, like the others, conveys the royal decree issued in 196 BCE, emphasizing Ptolemy V's divine status, his generosity towards the priesthood, and his role as the protector of Egypt. A language of power and authority. The use of hieroglyphs on the Rosetta Stone was a deliberate choice. It conveyed the sacred and authoritative nature of the decree, aligning it with the ancient traditions of Egyptian kingship. By employing this sacred script, the Ptolemies sought to connect their rule to the divine order and to gain the support and legitimacy of the priesthood. The challenges of deciphering hieroglyphs. For centuries, hieroglyphs remained an enigma, their meaning lost to the sands of time. Key challenges faced by early scholars included the lack of a living tradition. Unlike Greek and Latin, which continued to be spoken and written, hieroglyphs had fallen out of use centuries before the Rosetta Stone was discovered. This lack of a living tradition made it difficult to understand the nuances of the script and the context in which it was used. The ambiguity of symbols. The multiple meanings associated with many hieroglyphs posed a significant challenge. The same symbol could represent a sound, an object, or an abstract concept, depending on its context and the presence of other symbols. Early misconceptions. Some early scholars believed that hieroglyphs were purely symbolic or allegorical, with no phonetic value. These misconceptions hindered progress in deciphering the script. The decipherment of hieroglyphs. A monumental achievement. The decipherment of hieroglyphs was a monumental achievement, a testament to human ingenuity and the power of collaborative scholarship. Early attempts. Scholars such as Thomas Young made significant progress by identifying recurring patterns and recognizing certain hieroglyphs as representing proper names. Champollion's breakthrough. Jean-François Champollion, a brilliant French scholar, made the crucial breakthrough. By meticulously analyzing the Rosetta Stone and comparing the hieroglyphic text with the Greek and Demotic inscriptions, he recognized that hieroglyphs represented both phonetic sounds and ideograms. He identified the phonetic values of many hieroglyphs, effectively cracking the code of this ancient writing system. The legacy of hieroglyphs. The decipherment of hieroglyphs had a profound impact on our understanding of ancient Egyptian civilization. It opened a window into the religious beliefs, political structures, and daily life of the Egyptians, revealing a rich and complex society that had previously been hidden from view. A bridge to the past. Hieroglyphs provide a direct link to the ancient Egyptians, allowing us to read their own words, understand their religious beliefs, and appreciate their artistic and intellectual achievements. A source of inspiration. The intricate beauty and complexity of hieroglyphs continue to inspire artists, designers, and scholars around the world. They serve as a reminder of the enduring power of human creativity and the remarkable achievements of past civilizations. The Rosetta Stone, with its trilingual inscription, presents a fascinating glimpse into the linguistic landscape of Ptolemaic Egypt. While hieroglyphs represented the sacred and the monumental, and Greek served as the language of the ruling elite, Demotic occupied a unique position, bridging the gap between the sacred and the secular, the elite and the everyday. This chapter explores the Demotic script, its role on the Rosetta Stone, its significance in Ptolemaic society, and its contribution to the decipherment of ancient Egyptian writing. Demotic, a practical script for everyday life. Demotic, a cursive script that evolved from hieratic, emerged during the late period of Egyptian history, circa 650 BCE. It was designed to be more efficient and practical than its predecessor, allowing for faster and more fluid writing. A script for the people. Unlike hieroglyphs, which were primarily reserved for religious and ceremonial purposes, Demotic became the language of the people. It was widely used for everyday purposes, including legal and administrative documents, contracts, legal proceedings, and official records were commonly written in Demotic. Commercial transactions. Demotic was used for recording business transactions such as sales, loans, and leases. Personal correspondence. Letters, diaries, and other forms of personal communication were often written in Demotic. Literary texts. Demotic was also used for literary works, including stories, poems, and religious texts. A reflection of social change. The rise of Demotic reflects a shift in Egyptian society. As the complexity of administration increased, the need for a more efficient and practical writing system became apparent. Demotic, with its simplified forms and cursive style, met this need, enabling faster and more efficient communication within the Egyptian bureaucracy and among the general population. Demotic on the Rosetta Stone. A bridge to the people. The inclusion of Demotic on the Rosetta Stone was a significant decision. It demonstrated the Ptolemaic rulers' recognition of the importance of reaching the broader Egyptian population. Communicating with the people. By including the decree in Demotic, the Ptolemies ensured that the message reached the majority of the Egyptian population, including administrators, officials, and literate individuals who played a crucial role in the day-to-day functioning of society. Maintaining social stability. The use of demotic demonstrated the Ptolemies' awareness of the need to maintain a connection with the native Egyptian population. It was a gesture of inclusivity, recognizing the importance of communicating with the people in their own language. Reflecting Egyptian identity, the inclusion of demotic on the Rosetta Stone served as a reminder of the enduring strength of Egyptian culture. It demonstrated that, despite the Greek influence, the Ptolemies recognized the importance of maintaining and respecting Egyptian traditions and the language that embodied them. Deciphering demotic, a step towards understanding hieroglyphs. While initially more challenging to decipher than Greek, demotic played a crucial role in the overall process of unlocking the secrets of ancient Egypt. Early attempts. Scholars initially focused on identifying proper names and recurring phrases in the demotic text, comparing them with the Greek inscription. This helped to establish initial connections between the two scripts and identify patterns in the demotic script itself. Building on the foundations. The decipherment of demotic built upon the initial insights gained from the Greek text. By understanding the phonetic values of certain demotic characters, scholars were able to make further progress in deciphering hieroglyphs, which often shared similar phonetic values. A bridge between hieroglyphs and Coptic, demotic, as a later stage in the evolution of the Egyptian writing system, provided a crucial link between hieroglyphs and Coptic, the last stage of the Egyptian language. By studying demotic, scholars gained a deeper understanding of the phonetic and grammatical principles that underpinned both scripts. The decline of demotic and its enduring legacy. By the time of the Rosetta Stone, the dominance of Greek within the Ptolemaic administration and the subsequent Roman conquest of Egypt gradually led to the decline of demotic. Coptic, which utilized the Greek alphabet with the addition of some demotic characters, eventually replaced demotic as the primary written language of Egypt. Despite its eventual decline, demotic remains a crucial component of Egypt's linguistic and cultural heritage. Its decipherment has provided valuable insights into the social, economic, and cultural life of ancient Egyptians. It has shed light on their legal practices, commercial transactions, and personal beliefs, offering a more nuanced understanding of their daily lives and their interactions with the wider Hellenistic world. The Rosetta Stone, unearthed in 1799, presented a unique challenge to scholars to decipher 3 distinct scripts, 2 of which had been lost to time for centuries. This chapter explores the work of the key figures involved in this intellectual endeavor, highlighting their methods, their challenges, and the collaborative spirit that ultimately led to the decipherment of hieroglyphs. The early days, initial observations, and early attempts. The discovery of the Rosetta Stone in 1799 sparked immediate interest among scholars, accompanying Napoleon's expedition to Egypt. They recognized the significance of the trilingual inscription, with the Greek text offering a potential key to understanding the enigmatic hieroglyphic and demotic scripts. Early observations. The French scholars meticulously documented the stone, creating detailed drawings and copies of the inscriptions. They observed that the same message was inscribed in 3 different scripts, suggesting a deliberate attempt to communicate with different segments of the population. Initial challenges. While the Greek text was relatively easy to understand, the hieroglyphic and demotic scripts remained a mystery. Scholars grappled with the complexity of the hieroglyphs, struggling to decipher the meaning of the intricate symbols and determine whether they represented sounds, objects, or abstract concepts. Early attempts at decipherment. Early attempts at decipherment focused on identifying patterns and recurring motifs within the inscriptions. Scholars compared the Greek text with the other 2 scripts, searching for correspondences between words and phrases. Key figures in the race to decipherment. Several scholars played crucial roles in the race to decipher the Rosetta Stone. Antoine Isaac, Sylvestre de Sacy, 1758 to 1838. A renowned French Orientalist, de Sacy played a pivotal role in the early stages of decipherment. He focused his attention on the Demotic script, comparing it with the Greek text and identifying recurring proper names, such as Ptolemy and Alexander. While he did not fully decipher Demotic, his work laid the groundwork for future scholars. Johann David Åkerblad, 1763 to 1819. This Swedish diplomat and linguist made significant contributions to the understanding of Demotic. He identified several Demotic characters that corresponded to the sounds of Greek proper names, suggesting that Demotic, like Greek, contained phonetic elements. Thomas Young, 1773 to 1829. An English polymath, Young made significant strides in deciphering hieroglyphs. He recognized that hieroglyphs contained both phonetic and ideographic elements, meaning they could represent sounds or represent objects or concepts directly. He also correctly identified cartouches, oval shapes enclosing royal names, as key elements for decipherment. By comparing the cartouche in the hieroglyphic text with the Greek inscription, Young was able to identify the name Ptolemy and establish a crucial link between the two scripts. Jean-François Champollion, 1790 to 1832. Champollion, a brilliant French scholar and linguist, is widely credited with the full decipherment of hieroglyphs. Building upon the work of his predecessors, Champollion recognized the crucial role of Coptic, the last stage of the Egyptian language, in understanding the ancient script. By comparing Coptic, Greek, and the hieroglyphic inscriptions, he identified the phonetic values of many hieroglyphs, effectively cracking the code of this ancient writing system. Challenges and breakthroughs. The decipherment of the Rosetta Stone was a challenging and multifaceted process. The complexity of hieroglyphs, the multi-layered nature of hieroglyphs, with their combination of phonetic, ideographic, and symbolic elements, presented a significant obstacle. The lack of context. Scholars were working with limited information and a lack of contemporary understanding of the Egyptian language. Scholarly competition. The race to decipher the Rosetta Stone was sometimes marked by competition and rivalry among scholars. However, the exchange of ideas and the dissemination of findings ultimately contributed to the collective effort. Despite these challenges, the collaborative efforts of scholars, building upon each other's discoveries, ultimately led to the triumphant decipherment of hieroglyphs. The impact of decipherment. The decipherment of hieroglyphs had a profound impact on our understanding of ancient Egypt. Unlocking the past. It opened a window into the past, allowing scholars to read the inscriptions on temples, tombs, and papyri, and to gain a deeper understanding of Egyptian religion, mythology, art, and daily life. Advancing Egyptology. The decipherment of hieroglyphs established Egyptology as a legitimate field of academic study, attracting scholars from around the world. Inspiring future discoveries. The success of the Rosetta Stone project inspired further exploration and research into ancient civilizations, demonstrating the power of interdisciplinary scholarship and the importance of preserving and understanding our cultural heritage. The Rosetta Stone, despite its potential to unlock the secrets of ancient Egypt, presented a formidable challenge to early scholars. Deciphering its hieroglyphic and demotic scripts proved to be a long and arduous journey, fraught with setbacks and misconceptions. This chapter explores the reasons behind this extended period of uncertainty, examining the complexities of the scripts, the limitations of early research methods, and the broader historical and intellectual context that shaped the decipherment process. The enigma of forgotten knowledge. the discovery of the Rosetta Stone in 1799 presented scholars with a unique and unprecedented challenge. The hieroglyphic and demotic scripts had fallen out of use for centuries, their meanings lost to time. The decline of hieroglyphs. The rise of Christianity in Egypt, coupled with the decline of the Roman Empire, led to the gradual suppression of traditional Egyptian culture. The use of hieroglyphs diminished significantly, eventually falling into disuse altogether by the 4th century CE. With the loss of active use, the knowledge of how to read and write these ancient scripts was gradually lost. The influence of medieval thought. During the Middle Ages, European scholars, influenced by mystical and allegorical interpretations, often viewed hieroglyphs as symbolic representations of esoteric knowledge, rather than a functional writing system. These misconceptions, based on limited understanding and often influenced by religious and philosophical biases, hindered early attempts at decipherment. The impact of the Renaissance. The Renaissance, with its renewed interest in classical antiquity, sparked a renewed curiosity in Egyptian hieroglyphs. However, early interpretations were often speculative and based on limited evidence. Scholars sought to find hidden meanings and esoteric messages within the symbols, rather than focusing on their linguistic function. The complexity of hieroglyphic writing. The hieroglyphic script itself presented significant challenges to early scholars. A multi-layered system. Hieroglyphs were not simply pictures. They were a sophisticated system combining phonetic, logographic, and determinative elements. Phonetic elements. Some hieroglyphs represented individual sounds, similar to letters in an alphabet. Logograms. Other hieroglyphs represented entire words or concepts, such as the sun, the sky, or the Nile. Determinatives. These symbols did not represent sounds, but provided grammatical or semantic information, such as the category of the word, e.g., human, animal, plant. Ambiguity and polysemy. Many hieroglyphs had multiple meanings depending on their context and the presence of other symbols. This ambiguity made it difficult to determine the precise meaning of a given symbol or sequence of symbols. Lack of clear word boundaries. Hieroglyphic texts often lacked clear word dividers, making it challenging to determine where one word ended and another began. This further increased the difficulty of deciphering the meaning of the inscriptions. The limitations of early research. Early attempts at decipherment were hampered by several factors. Limited linguistic tools. The field of linguistics was still in its infancy during the 18th and early 19th centuries. Scholars lacked the sophisticated tools and methodologies that are now available for analyzing languages and comparing scripts. Lack of comparative data. The Rosetta Stone was one of the few multilingual texts available for study. The absence of a larger corpus of comparable inscriptions limited the ability of scholars to identify patterns and make accurate comparisons. Scholarly rivalries. The race to decipher the Rosetta Stone sometimes fueled competition and rivalry among scholars. This could hinder the free exchange of information and slow down the progress of research. The role of collaboration and the triumph of Champollion. Despite the challenges, the collaborative efforts of scholars, building upon each other's discoveries, ultimately led to the breakthrough. Building on the foundations. Scholars like Thomas Young made significant contributions by identifying key patterns and establishing initial connections between the Greek and Egyptian scripts. Young recognized the importance of cartouches, oval shapes enclosing royal names, and identified the name Ptolemy in the hieroglyphic text. The crucial role of Coptic. Jean-François Champollion, a brilliant French scholar, recognized the crucial link between Coptic, the last stage of the Egyptian language, and the ancient hieroglyphic script. His knowledge of Coptic allowed him to identify phonetic values for many hieroglyphs and to understand the underlying grammatical structure of the Egyptian language. A monumental achievement, Champollion's decipherment of hieroglyphs was a landmark achievement, opening a window into the past and revealing the rich and complex civilization of ancient Egypt. It demonstrated the power of interdisciplinary research and the importance of collaborative effort in overcoming seemingly insurmountable challenges. At first glance, the Rosetta Stone may appear to be a mere royal proclamation, a mundane decree issued by a Ptolemaic king. However, a closer examination reveals a complex tapestry of political maneuvering, religious symbolism, and cultural negotiation woven into its very fabric. This chapter explores the deeper layers of meaning embedded within the Rosetta Stone's inscription, revealing how it offers valuable insights into the power dynamics, social structures, and ideological strategies of Ptolemaic Egypt. 1. A royal proclamation, more than meets the eye. The decree inscribed on the Rosetta Stone was not simply a legal document, it was a carefully crafted piece of political propaganda. Ptolemy V, a young king facing internal unrest and external threats, utilized the decree to legitimize his rule. By emphasizing his piety, his military victories, and his generosity towards the gods and the priesthood, the decree sought to establish Ptolemy V as a divinely sanctioned ruler, worthy of the respect and obedience of his subjects. The invocation of the gods and the emphasis on maintaining Mayat, the Egyptian concept of cosmic order and justice, reinforced the divine right of the king and his role as the protector of the realm. Consolidate power. The decree addressed the challenges faced by the Ptolemaic dynasty, such as internal rebellions and external threats. By highlighting his military victories and his commitment to restoring order, Ptolemy V sought to project an image of strength and stability, reassuring both his Egyptian subjects and potential rivals. Secure the loyalty of the priesthood. The decree strategically granted significant privileges to the priesthood, including tax exemptions and the restoration of temple lands. This not only demonstrated the king's piety and respect for traditional Egyptian institutions, but also secured the loyalty of a powerful and influential segment of Egyptian society. The priesthood, with its extensive network and religious authority, played a crucial role in maintaining social order and legitimizing royal rule. The priesthood. Pillars of power and stability. The Rosetta Stone underscores the pivotal role of the priesthood in Ptolemaic Egypt. Guardians of Mayat. The priests, as custodians of religious tradition and interpreters of divine will, were seen as guardians of Mayat, the concept of cosmic order and harmony. By aligning himself with the priesthood, Ptolemy V sought to align his rule with the divine order and ensure the stability and prosperity of the kingdom. Economic powerhouses. Temples were not merely places of worship. They were also significant economic institutions, owning vast tracts of land and employing large numbers of people. By granting privileges to the temples, Ptolemy V not only secured their loyalty, but also ensured their continued economic prosperity, which benefited the entire kingdom. Intermediaries between the king and the people. The priesthood served as a vital link between the central government and the local population. They disseminated royal decrees, collected taxes, and resolved local disputes. By maintaining a strong relationship with the priesthood, Ptolemy V ensured that his policies were effectively implemented throughout the kingdom. 3. Cultural syncretism, a blend of Greek and Egyptian traditions. The decree reflects the unique cultural blend that characterized Ptolemaic Egypt, a society that sought to reconcile Greek and Egyptian traditions. The cult of the living king. The establishment of a royal cult, with statues of Ptolemy V placed in temples, and festivals dedicated to his worship reflected the Hellenistic influence of deifying rulers. However, these practices were also integrated into existing Egyptian religious traditions, demonstrating the Ptolemies' skillful blending of Greek and Egyptian beliefs. Serapis and the syncretism of deities. The emergence of deities like Serapis, a fusion of Greek and Egyptian gods, exemplifies the cultural syncretism that characterized Ptolemaic Egypt. This process of blending religious traditions aimed to create a shared cultural identity and to foster a sense of unity among the diverse population. The trilingual inscription as a symbol of cultural integration, the inclusion of hieroglyphs, Demotic, and Greek on the Rosetta Stone itself symbolizes the cultural diversity of Ptolemaic Egypt. This trilingual approach demonstrated the Ptolemies' recognition of the different linguistic and cultural groups within their kingdom, and their efforts to communicate with all segments of society. Fourth, economic considerations and political strategy. The decree also provides insights into the economic policies and strategies of the Ptolemaic state. Taxation and economic stability. The emphasis on tax exemptions for temples suggests that taxation played a significant role in the Ptolemaic economy. By alleviating the tax burden on religious institutions, Ptolemy V sought to maintain economic stability and ensure the continued prosperity of the kingdom. Redistribution of wealth. The restoration of confiscated temple lands reflects a policy of redistribution aimed at addressing social and economic grievances and securing the loyalty of key segments of the population. Maintaining control. While granting privileges to the temples, the Ptolemies also sought to maintain control over the economic activities of religious institutions. This ensured that temple wealth did not pose a threat to royal authority, and that the monarchy retained a significant degree of economic influence. 5. A window into Ptolemaic society. The Rosetta Stone, with its trilingual inscription, offers a unique window into the complex social and political dynamics of Ptolemaic Egypt. Reflecting the hierarchy of power. The positioning of the hieroglyphic, Demotic, and Greek inscriptions on the stone reflects the social and political hierarchy of Ptolemaic society. Hieroglyphs, the most ancient and sacred script, occupied the top position, followed by Demotic, the language of the people, and then Greek, the language of the ruling elite. Navigating cultural diversity. The Ptolemies faced the challenge of governing a diverse population with distinct cultural and linguistic traditions. The trilingual inscription reflects their efforts to navigate this cultural complexity and ensure that their message reached all segments of society. The enduring legacy of Ptolemaic Egypt. The Rosetta Stone provides valuable insights into the cultural, political, and social dynamics of Ptolemaic Egypt, a period that witnessed the blending of Greek and Egyptian traditions and the emergence of a unique Hellenistic culture. The decipherment of the Rosetta Stone in 1822 marked a turning point in our understanding of ancient Egypt, ushering in the birth of Egyptology as a formal academic discipline. This chapter explores the profound impact of the Rosetta Stone on the field of Egyptology, examining its influence on archaeological discoveries, its contributions to linguistics and comparative studies, and its enduring significance in modern scholarship. 1. The Rosetta Stone, a catalyst for Egyptology. The decipherment of hieroglyphs, made possible by the Rosetta Stone, revolutionized our understanding of ancient Egypt. Unlocking the past. Before the decipherment, hieroglyphs remained enigmatic symbols, their meanings lost to time. Champollion's breakthrough opened a window into the past, allowing scholars to read ancient Egyptian texts, from royal decrees and religious inscriptions to personal letters and funerary texts. This access to primary sources provided invaluable insights into the beliefs, practices, and daily lives of the ancient Egyptians. Birth of a discipline. The decipherment of hieroglyphs spurred the development of Egyptology as a distinct field of study. Universities established departments of Egyptology, museums acquired and exhibited Egyptian artifacts, and archaeological expeditions were launched to explore and excavate ancient Egyptian sites. The Rosetta Stone became the cornerstone of this new field, symbolizing the intellectual triumph that made Egyptology possible. 2. Illuminating the past, reading the texts. The ability to read hieroglyphs opened up a wealth of information about ancient Egyptian civilization, religious beliefs and practices. The decipherment of religious texts, such as the Book of the Dead and temple inscriptions, provided invaluable insights into Egyptian cosmology, mythology, and religious rituals. Scholars gained a deeper understanding of Egyptian beliefs about the afterlife, the role of the gods, and the relationship between the pharaoh and the divine. Royal history and power. Royal inscriptions and annals provided detailed accounts of the achievements of pharaohs, from military campaigns and building projects to their religious and cultural activities. These texts shed light on the political and military history of Egypt, revealing the rise and fall of dynasties and the complexities of Egyptian governance. Everyday life. The decipherment of everyday documents, such as letters, contracts, and legal records, offered a glimpse into the daily lives of ordinary Egyptians. These texts provided valuable information about social structures, economic activities, family life, and the legal system. 3. Fueling archaeological discoveries. The ability to read hieroglyphic inscriptions greatly enhanced the value of archaeological discoveries. Interpreting archaeological finds. Archaeologists could now interpret the inscriptions found on artifacts, monuments, and temple walls, providing valuable context and meaning to their discoveries. For example, the inscriptions on the walls of the Temple of Luxor provided crucial information about the reign of Ramesses II and his building projects. Locating and interpreting sites. Deciphered inscriptions helped archaeologists to locate and identify important sites, such as tombs, temples, and ancient cities. The ability to read inscriptions on pottery, statues, and other artifacts provided clues about the origins and significance of these objects. Understanding the context of discoveries. The decipherment of hieroglyphs provided a framework for understanding the historical and cultural context of archaeological discoveries. By reading inscriptions and comparing them to other historical sources, archaeologists could gain a deeper understanding of the people who created these artifacts and the society in which they lived. 4th, contributions to linguistics and comparative studies. The decipherment of hieroglyphs had a significant impact on the development of linguistics and comparative studies. The power of comparative analysis. The successful decipherment of hieroglyphs demonstrated the power of comparative linguistics, the study of relationships between languages. By comparing the hieroglyphic, Demotic, and Greek texts on the Rosetta Stone, scholars were able to identify patterns and establish connections between different writing systems. Understanding language evolution. The decipherment of hieroglyphs provided valuable insights into the evolution of the Egyptian language, from its earliest forms to Coptic, the last stage of the Egyptian language. This understanding contributed to our broader knowledge of language change and the development of writing systems. Inspiring further research. The success of the Rosetta Stone project inspired further research into the decipherment of other ancient scripts, such as cuneiform and Maya glyphs. It demonstrated the importance of interdisciplinary research and the power of comparative analysis in unlocking the mysteries of the past. The Rosetta Stone, a cultural icon. The Rosetta Stone has transcended its role as a mere archaeological artifact to become a powerful symbol of intellectual curiosity, perseverance, and the enduring power of human knowledge. A symbol of human ingenuity. The decipherment of hieroglyphs stands as a testament to the ingenuity of human intellect and the ability of scholars to overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges. A metaphor for decipherment. The term Rosetta Stone has entered popular culture as a metaphor for anything that provides the key to understanding a complex problem or unlocking a hidden meaning. A source of ongoing debate. The Rosetta Stone continues to be a subject of ongoing debate and discussion. Questions about its ownership and repatriation to Egypt highlight the complexities of cultural heritage and the ethical considerations surrounding the display and preservation of ancient artifacts. The Rosetta Stone, while celebrated for its contribution to our understanding of ancient Egypt, has also become a focal point for debates surrounding cultural heritage, colonialism, and the ethics of artifact ownership. Since its removal from Egypt in the early 19th century, the stone has been at the center of ongoing discussions about its rightful home and the broader implications of its presence in the British Museum. 1. The Rosetta Stone, a product of colonialism. The journey of the Rosetta Stone from Egypt to Britain is inextricably linked to the history of European colonialism. Discovery and removal. The stone was discovered during Napoleon's invasion of Egypt, a period of French colonial expansion. While the initial discovery and documentation of the stone were conducted by French scholars, its subsequent removal to Britain following the British victory in 1801 reflects the realities of colonial power dynamics. The ethics of acquisition. The acquisition of the Rosetta Stone by the British, while technically legitimate under the terms of the Treaty of Alexandria, raises questions about the ethical implications of acquiring cultural artifacts during periods of military conflict and colonial dominance. Critics argue that the removal of the stone, along with other Egyptian artifacts, reflects a historical pattern of cultural appropriation and exploitation. The Rosetta Stone in the British Museum, a symbol of enlightenment and a source of controversy. The Rosetta Stone has become one of the most celebrated exhibits in the British Museum, attracting millions of visitors each year. A symbol of enlightenment. The stone is often presented as a symbol of human intellectual achievement, showcasing the power of scholarship and the pursuit of knowledge. Its presence in the British Museum has contributed to the museum's reputation as a global center of learning and a repository of human history. Accessibility and global reach. The British Museum, with its extensive resources and global reach, provides a platform for the Rosetta Stone to be studied, appreciated, and enjoyed by a wide audience. This accessibility has undoubtedly contributed to its global significance and its impact on the field of Egyptology. The controversy of ownership. While the British Museum emphasizes the global accessibility of the stone, critics argue that its presence in London constitutes a form of cultural appropriation. They contend that the stone, as a cornerstone of Egyptian cultural heritage, rightfully belongs in Egypt. The Egyptian perspective. Reclaiming a national treasure, Egypt has consistently pressed for the repatriation of the Rosetta Stone, arguing that it is an integral part of the nation's cultural identity and a symbol of its ancient heritage. Historical and cultural significance. The stone is deeply intertwined with Egypt's history and national identity. Its return would be a powerful symbol of the country's cultural resurgence and its efforts to reclaim its historical heritage. Ethical considerations. Egyptian officials argue that the stone was removed from Egypt under coercive circumstances and that its continued presence in the British Museum perpetuates the legacy of colonialism. They contend that the stone rightfully belongs in Egypt. where it can be displayed and studied within its own cultural context. The Grand Egyptian Museum. The construction of the Grand Egyptian Museum in Giza, a state-of-the-art facility designed to house Egypt's most important archaeological treasures, has further fueled calls for the repatriation of the Rosetta Stone. Egyptian officials envision the stone as a centerpiece of this museum, serving as a symbol of national pride and a catalyst for cultural tourism. The British Museum's position and international debates. The British Museum has consistently resisted calls for the repatriation of the Rosetta Stone, citing several key arguments. Legal ownership. The museum maintains that the stone was acquired legally under the terms of the Treaty of Alexandria, and that it has been lawfully held in its collection since 1802. Global accessibility. The museum argues that its global reach and extensive resources ensure that the Rosetta Stone is accessible to a wider audience than it would be if it were returned to Egypt. Concerns about precedent. The British Museum has expressed concerns that the return of the Rosetta Stone could set a precedent for the repatriation of other significant artifacts held in museum collections around the world, potentially destabilizing museum collections and creating legal and logistical challenges. The importance of international collaboration. The museum emphasizes the importance of international collaboration and the sharing of knowledge. It advocates for partnerships between museums and cultural institutions to facilitate research, education, and the exchange of information. The debate over the Rosetta Stone has become a focal point for broader discussions about the ownership of cultural artifacts and the ethical implications of their acquisition and display. These debates raise important questions about the rights of source nations, the responsibilities of museums, and the role of international cooperation in addressing these complex issues. 5. Exploring potential solutions. While the repatriation of the Rosetta Stone remains a contentious issue, several potential solutions have been proposed. Joint custody arrangements. A potential compromise could involve a joint custody arrangement where the stone is displayed in both the British Museum and a museum in Egypt for agreed-upon periods. Digital replicas and virtual reality. High-quality replicas and virtual reality experiences can offer alternative ways for the public to engage with the Rosetta Stone, while also addressing concerns about accessibility. Collaborative research and exchange programs. Fostering closer collaboration between the British Museum and Egyptian institutions can facilitate research, education, and the exchange of knowledge. Developing international frameworks. The development of international guidelines and ethical frameworks for the acquisition, display, and repatriation of cultural artifacts could help to resolve similar disputes in the future. The Rosetta Stone, far more than just a piece of inscribed granite, has profoundly shaped our understanding of the past and continues to resonate in the 21st century. Its decipherment marked a pivotal moment in human history, opening the doors to a deeper understanding of ancient Egypt and inspiring generations of scholars and explorers. This chapter examines the enduring legacy of the Rosetta Stone, exploring its impact on various fields of study, its role in shaping modern perspectives on cultural heritage, and its continued relevance in an increasingly interconnected world. 1. A catalyst for Egyptology. Unlocking the secrets of the past. The decipherment of hieroglyphs, made possible by the Rosetta Stone, revolutionized our understanding of ancient Egypt. Birth of a discipline. The Rosetta Stone served as the cornerstone of Egyptology, a field of study that encompasses archaeology, history, linguistics, art history, and religious studies. It provided a framework for deciphering other ancient Egyptian texts, leading to a surge in archaeological excavations and the discovery of numerous temples, tombs, and artifacts. Illuminating Ancient Egyptian Civilization. The decipherment of hieroglyphs unlocked a wealth of information about ancient Egyptian society, revealing its complex religious beliefs, intricate political structures, and sophisticated artistic and technological achievements. Scholars gained insights into the daily lives of ordinary Egyptians, their social hierarchies, their economic practices, and their philosophical and religious beliefs. Connecting the past to the present. By deciphering hieroglyphs, scholars were able to connect the present to the past, tracing the evolution of the Egyptian language and culture from its ancient origins to the modern era. This understanding has enriched our appreciation of human history and demonstrated the enduring legacy of ancient civilizations. Beyond Egyptology. A paradigm shift in scholarship. The decipherment of the Rosetta Stone had a profound impact beyond the field of Egyptology. The power of comparative linguistics. The successful decipherment of hieroglyphs demonstrated the power of comparative linguistics, the study of relationships between languages. This approach, pioneered by scholars like Thomas Young and Jean-François Champollion, has since been applied to the decipherment of other ancient scripts, such as cuneiform and Maya glyphs, a model for interdisciplinary research. The Rosetta Stone project exemplifies the importance of interdisciplinary collaboration. Scholars from diverse fields, including linguistics, archaeology, history, and art history, worked together to solve the complex puzzle of the inscriptions. This collaborative approach has become a hallmark of modern scholarship in many fields. Inspiring future generations. The story of the Rosetta Stone's decipherment continues to inspire scholars and students, demonstrating the power of human ingenuity, perseverance, and the pursuit of knowledge. It serves as a reminder that even the most seemingly insurmountable challenges can be overcome through careful observation, meticulous research, and the collaborative efforts of dedicated individuals. 3. The Rosetta Stone and the Ethics of Cultural Heritage. The Rosetta Stone has also become a focal point for debates about cultural heritage, ownership, and the ethical implications of artifact acquisition. The legacy of colonialism, the acquisition of the Rosetta Stone by the British during the Napoleonic Wars, raises important questions about the ethics of artifact collection during periods of colonialism. Critics argue that many artifacts held in Western museums were acquired through exploitative or unethical means. The right to repatriation. The Egyptian government has repeatedly called for the return of the Rosetta Stone, arguing that it is an integral part of Egypt's national heritage and should be returned to its rightful home. These calls for repatriation raise important questions about the ownership of cultural property and the rights of source nations, balancing global access and cultural sensitivity. The British Museum argues that the Rosetta Stone is best preserved and displayed in a world-class institution where it can be studied and appreciated by a global audience. However, it is crucial to acknowledge the cultural and historical significance of the stone for Egypt, and to find ways to balance global access with respect for the wishes of the source nation. The Rosetta Stone in the 21st century. In the digital age, the Rosetta Stone continues to evolve as a symbol and a source of inspiration. Digital technologies and virtual reality. High-resolution scans, 3D models, and virtual reality experiences allow for the creation of digital replicas of the Rosetta Stone, making it accessible to a wider audience and facilitating research and education. The Rosetta Stone as a teaching tool. The story of the Rosetta Stone is now widely used in educational settings, inspiring students to explore history, linguistics, and the power of human ingenuity. A catalyst for dialogue. The ongoing debate surrounding the Rosetta Stone's ownership serves as a platform for discussing important issues related to cultural heritage, repatriation, and the ethical implications of artifact collection. Conclusion. The Rosetta Stone, far more than just a piece of inscribed stone, has become a powerful symbol of human curiosity, intellectual achievement, and the enduring power of language. Its decipherment revolutionized our understanding of ancient Egypt and paved the way for the development of Egyptology as a major field of study. The debates surrounding the Rosetta Stone's ownership reflect broader questions about cultural heritage, colonialism, and the ethical responsibilities of museums and scholars. As we move forward, it is crucial to find ways to balance the global significance of the stone with the legitimate claims of its country of origin. By engaging in open dialogue and exploring innovative solutions, we can ensure that the Rosetta Stone continues to inspire and educate future generations, while also respecting the cultural heritage of the Egyptian people.